What if winning the lottery was the worst thing that ever happened to you, but also the best? That's the kind of wild story we're diving into today, one that literally jumps between worlds. So it all kicks off with this staggering number, 4 billion yen. Can you even imagine? Our guy, Kazura, hits the jackpot. He's set for life, right? Well, not exactly. Turns out, that kind of money buys a whole lot of problems. But peace and quiet, not on the list. Yeah, forget the sports cars and mansions. This story is about how an insane amount of money became a curse. A curse so bad that the only way out was to just vanish, to get off the grid entirely. And that's where things get really interesting. He goes from jackpot winner to, well, a fugitive in a way. I mean, just picture it. You win more money than you could ever spend, and suddenly you're trapped? Oh man, the dream turned into a nightmare fast. We're not talking about a few annoying calls. It was an absolute avalanche. 52 missed calls in no time. Random people showing up at his door asking for donations. Even old classmates he barely remembered suddenly pop up, hand outstretched, looking for a loan. It was just nonstop. So totally at his wit's end, Kazura calls his dad. And his dad has this brilliant idea. The old family mansion, deep in the mountains, abandoned for 30 years. Perfect, right? The ultimate escape. Of course, his dad immediately hits him up for 100 million yen for the suggestion. Gotta love family, huh? All right, so Kazura makes his getaway. He's finally free, alone in this old mansion. But this is the exact moment where the story just completely flips. We're leaving the unlucky lottery winner plot behind and jumping into something way, way stranger. He gets to the mansion, and it's actually in pretty good shape, for being empty for 3 decades. But while he's looking around, he finds something weird. Just one door. Locked. Now think about it. Why would a single door be locked in a house nobody's been in for 30 years? He touches the lock, and it's so ancient it just falls apart in his hands. And what's behind it isn't some dusty old closet. It's a corridor. An impossible, seemingly endless corridor that just shouldn't be there. So what do? Of course you walk down it. And when he comes out the other side, he's not in Japan anymore. He's in a medieval-looking village, with people carrying farming tools, staring at him like he just fell from the sky. So he's basically world-hopped into a place that's in deep trouble. And his first move isn't to play king or anything like that. It's to help out. And he does it with stuff he literally just has in his backpack. This village is in bad shape. I mean, really bad. People are starving, sickness is everywhere, and their leader is on his deathbed. Kazura, feeling the pressure, just pulls out what he has, some basic medicine from a pharmacy, and, get this, an energy drink. To him, it's a might-as-well-try kind of thing. To them, it was pure magic. And the best part is, Kazura himself thinks it's a total long shot. He hands the stuff over to the chief's daughter, Valeda, basically thinking, well, I tried. But then, a few hours later, the chief is up and walking around completely fine. Kazura is absolutely floored. He's probably more surprised than anyone in the village. So this light bulb goes off in his head. My normal stuff is super-powered here. He books it back through the portal and goes on the most epic shopping spree you've ever seen. We're talking hundreds of kilos of rice and salt, canned food, and, 400 bottles of that miracle-working energy drink. He basically hauls a small supermarket back to save everyone. Okay, so handing out food and medicine is one thing. That's just crisis management. But what happens when you decide to go bigger? What happens when you start introducing 21st century technology to a world that's barely got iron tools? Their next big problem is a drought that's killing all their crops. So what does Kazura do? He draws up a plan for a water wheel, pops back to Japan, and drops 5 million yen to have one custom-made fast. Then he lugs this giant piece of machinery back through the portal and, with the villagers' help, they build a modern irrigation system. Just like that. And he's not done. To really lock in their food supply, he brings over some advanced fertilizer. And the results are just insane. The fields, which were totally dry and useless, are suddenly producing these gigantic, life-saving potatoes. He didn't just solve the drought, he solved hunger, probably for good. Okay, let's recap. You've cured their sick, fed their hungry, and brought water to their fields. You're a hero, a savior. But a tiny village suddenly thriving in the middle of a wasteland? That kind of thing, it gets noticed. See, the villagers have this old legend about a god named Grasher, a god of the harvest, who shows up when things are at their absolute worst. So, after everything Kazura's done, well, you can see where this is going. They're convinced he is Grasher. He went from being a weird stranger to their literal god. And like I said, a little patch of paradise in the middle of a starving country is going to raise some eyebrows. Sure enough, the local lord sends an army to check out these wild rumors. And the commander, a guy named Isaac, is not buying any of it. He smells a rat. So, the stage is set for a major confrontation. You've got Kazura just trying to protect this village and deal with this whole being a god thing. You've got Isaac, the sharp military guy who's there to find the truth. And watching from a distance is Lord Nelson, the guy in charge who's just getting these impossible reports and trying to figure out what's going on. Isaac corners him, pretty much calling him a liar. Kazura's got no choice. He has to play his trump card. He takes Isaac and his soldiers to the spot in the forest where the portal is. Then he takes Valletta's hand, she takes one step forward, and from the soldier's perspective, she just vanishes into thin air. Poof, gone. And just like that, everything changes. Isaac, the tough, skeptical commander, literally falls to his knees. He's just seen something that breaks every law of reality he knows. His investigation is over. Now he's a believer. And he tells Kazura that it's not just the village. The whole country is starving. He's begging, pleading for Grasher's aid to help them all. And that's the cliffhanger. The guy who won the lottery just to escape people asking him for money is now being asked to save an entire nation of 2 million people. What do you even do in that situation? He has the power, he has the money, but what's the price for playing God?